Two, three, two, one. This is the City of Springfield Audio Video Department. We are scheduled to have a press conference here at the BOS at 3 p.m. Again, this is a test of our live broadcast for a press conference from the BOS Center at 3 p.m. More additional information will follow. Thank you. One, and we're back. Just another update. It is 2:45. We are live at the BOS Center, and we will have a press conference beginning at 3 o'clock. Again, it is 2:45. We'll have a press conference beginning at 3 o'clock.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing. He's gonna kill me. Yes, sir. How's that? Too high to my mouth. Testing. Is that good? 1, 2, 3, testing. Do I need to?
Oh, you're good. Check 1, 2. Test check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. just going to leave it on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to acknowledge the people that are here behind me for today's press conference. We have Dave Books, who is the Public Works Director at the City of Springfield. We have Assistant Police Chief Don Mumaw, City of Springfield. We have our Chief Utility Engineer Doug Brown with the City of Springfield. We have Lou Bart from the YMCA representing, Don Morris from Red Cross. We have our Fire Chief Ed Canny in the back. And then we have representatives from the BOS Center today that are the management and on the board here today to show you their support. Today marks my official 2 months in office. It's my anniversary. So it's been a wild 2 months to say the least. I would like to first acknowledge that we have cooling. The city has cooling and charging stations for your devices and cell phones. The BOS Center, which we are standing in today, is one of those. The YMCAs in town are offering those services as well. The City of Springfield offices Municipal Center East, Municipal Center West, Lincoln Library, and our Office of Community Relations are all cooling centers and charging stations. St. John's Breadline, Salvation Army, Washington Street Mission, and Helping Hands. It's important that our citizens who are still without power know where they can get cooled off in the heat, get some water, and charge their cell phones or tablets, whatever they need to charge laptops. At this time, I'm going to bring up Don Morris from the American Red Cross to speak to you about today's efforts at the BOS Center.
Hello, everyone. As Mayor said, my name is Dawn Morris, and I am the Executive Director of the South Central Chapter here in the Springfield area. And I just want to talk a little bit about what we have going on here at the BOS Center. What we have going on here on the lower floor is we have a cooling center. We have a place where people can come in and charge their cell phones. They can come in and get a cold drink of water. They can grab a meal for both lunch and dinner. And we also have a children's room available that if they would like to bring their kids just to get away from their home for a little bit so they can come in and play. And then we also have the overnight shelter. All of those were utilized last night. I figured that might be one of the questions that you asked me, so I will tell you that everything that we're offering has been utilized. I just want to say a big thank you to the mayor for supporting us in these efforts, and I also want to make sure that you are aware that we are also doing mobile feeding. So we are also right here in your community, going out in neighborhoods and making sure that they too have food and water. I would suggest that if you have any questions, that you come down and you take a look at our facility, or if anyone has any other questions, they can call 1-800-RED Cross. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. And the City of Springfield gives a big shout out to the American Red Cross. Dawn and her team have done amazing getting this facility set up and then opening their arms up to the Springfield community during their time of need. I would now like to bring up Lou Bart from the YMCA, so Lou can share with you what is going on at their facilities.
Thank you, Mayor. At the YMCA's of Springfield, we have opened both of our facilities for cooling, recharging, and connecting. So we have space for people to come in, cool off, recharge their devices, and also connect free on the internet. We've been offering this since Friday. Yesterday, at both YMCA's, yesterday at 4th of July, we had just downtown, and we had quite a few people come in, and we're very thankful about that. We're also offering some snacks and water, too. For the rest of the week, it will be both YMCA's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Saturday, both YMCA's 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, West Carasota's YMCA, 8 a.m. to noon, and then downtown, 1 to 4 p.m. We're very thankful that we have received a donation from Target stores of 3 baskets full of snacks that we'll be offering folks to. And Hy-Vee has donated water to our facilities too. So we've got water, snacks, keep people comfortable. I'd also add that Blue Cross Blue Shield has donated for this weekend. We're going to have 300 fresh produce boxes at the downtown Y, starting at about 2 o'clock for people that need food or want to replenish food that they've had to throw away if they've got their power back on. And last, I would offer too that for parents, we have camps going on, summer camps in several different locations, Rochester, in the city here at different locations, 3 different locations, and at our summer camp out on the west side. So if people want their kids to be in a safe spot, a cool spot where we're taking care of, where they're being fed during the day, we have summer camp and still openings in many of those locations. And if people are financially challenged, we have financial assistance programs to help people with camp. They just need to contact us at the YMCA, springfieldymca.org, or call either of our facilities.
The City of Springfield also wants to thank the YMCA, their board of directors, their marketing director, and then their Angie Soul as well, because they have opened up their doors since Friday as soon as the storm hit to our citizens. So we do thank you. Yes. Now we're going to bring up Doug Brown, our Chief Utility Engineer, to give you updates on the utility itself.
First, I want to compliment CBLP crews and operations teams and all the other crews from all around the country that are helping us restore power to everyone. I encourage them to keep working and stay safe. We have endured a devastating storm with destruction beyond what our community has seen in many decades with such wide scope. We are very understanding, though, of how frustrated our customers are for staying out of power for so long, but we're going to continue to work tirelessly until they are all back on. We are watching the weather. Our community and systems remain fragile, and we need everyone to be aware of that. We have thousands of damaged trees, and more could come into contact with power lines from just the wind, and then our customers could lose power again. It also must be understood that customers may lose power temporarily as crews fix issues that they find in the field. There are many areas that have limbs near failure that would not take much for them to fall onto the power lines. If a storm comes, be safe and be patient. Back in the first 48 hours, we restored 30,000 customers, and we projected by the end of yesterday for 7,000 to remain without power. And we met that. Today, we are at 5,200 customers without power, with about 400 outage locations to repair. This is down from the start of the storm with a high of 40,000 customers out of power with about 500 outage locations. We are still on target for 3,500 remaining on outage by the end of Friday and 1,000 to still be on outage by the end of Sunday. We are still proceeding with trying to prioritize circuits that are with the largest amount of customers. We are also coordinating by quadrant to be efficient with repairs. With the severity of the damage being so widespread across the city, it is impossible to provide estimates for every area. We know customers are frustrated, but we ask everyone to be patient. Another serious issue, please do not threaten or harass our crews that are working so many hours to return power to thousands of people. This will force them to leave the area. They need to stay active and engaged in that area, so please respect that. Again, we understand that people are upset with no power for almost a week. However, we have pulled out all the stops and have received the help as those crews become available and arrive on site. We now have 133 additional personnel with 112 trucks from various areas throughout the country. CWP has 75 personnel and 50 trucks. That is over 200 people in the field trying to restore power. We have more than doubled our numbers. Remember, the complexity of the repairs and the weather will affect the estimates that we are giving. Another storm with high winds is expected soon. Please remember to check CWP's website for its outage page, as well as updates on social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Now we're going to bring up our Director of Public Works to let you know about our cleanup efforts. Our director is Dave Fuchs, and Dave's going to come up and speak with you about that.
Good afternoon. As of 6:30 this morning, Public Works has been able to field 10 debris removal crews. That includes one from the Illinois Department of Transportation. We have also fielded 3 cutting crews. These are individuals from our forestry division that are concentrating on removing hanging limbs and trees that are down outside of the public way. We have activated our branch map, which is on the Public Works version of the city's website, and it denotes what areas of the city that we have teams that are working in. So if you want to know what's happening in your neighborhood, that's the best way to check. Also wanted to let everybody know that we do have dumpsters available for spoiled food. One is located at 2121 South 11th Street. The other one is at 600 Rickards. One for the east side, one for the west side. I know a lot of folks were using those dumpsters over the weekend, and they are still available. I'd also ask that everyone, when you're placing your branches, do not put them on the pavement, do not put them in the gutters, put them in the easement. That way, if we do happen to get rain, especially heavy rain, the water will be able to flow and we won't have ponding or pooling on the pavement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I'm going to bring up our Fire Chief, Ed Canny, now to discuss the possible upcoming weather today.
Good afternoon. So in order to keep everyone safe, we want to keep everyone aware of the incoming weather. So this afternoon, we are expecting a line of storms to come in. Not as severe as what we saw last Thursday, but again, our infrastructure has been weakened. We do have trees that are hanging, and any amount of wind can cause that to come down and cause this problem to be exacerbated. So we want to remind everybody to stay safe. If you are at home and need somewhere to go, we want to remind you that you can come down here to the basement of the BOS Center for shelter, for cooling, and for charging devices. Your devices are probably the most important thing to you right now to stay abreast of the news and all of the updates, but it can also be used to keep you apprised of the incoming weather. So we want to welcome you to the BOS Center, remind you that it is here. It is also a safe place to go because it is the basement. So please be mindful of the incoming storms and take necessary precautions.
Now our Assistant Chief of Police, Don Mumaw, is going to come and talk about an alert system.
All right, so yeah, I just want to bring it to everyone's attention. Several years back, the city got a application that's on the website. It's called Alert Sense. Basically what it is, we'll push out notifications through that system. If you want to sign up for that, you can go to the city's website and click Alert Sense on there, and it'll walk you through the parameters of what you're wanting to be alerted about. It's kind of a all-inclusive system. Some folks may want the storm information, some may want some other information, but it is a system that our communications director will be using. And I also would like to tell everybody the same thing, be prepared. We're hoping this storm that's coming through now isn't going to be near what we had, but we would ask you to check on your neighbors, make sure you got water and non-perishable foods and things ready to go in case something were to happen again.
Thank you, Chief. I want to remind our citizens that the Illinois Baptist Disaster Relief Team is coming in to assess properties and start work tomorrow. You can reach this team at area code 217-341-2416. This is a group that comes in to volunteer and assist homeowners in cleanup of debris from their yard. So please call the Illinois Baptist Disaster Relief Team if you need help at 217-341-2416 for debris removal help. If you have a city water, light, and power outage, especially with possible storms coming in today, remember the number is 217-789-2121. 217-789-2121. Our Public Works number for debris pickup is 217-789-2246, 217-789-2246. Please be patient with the debris pickup. It will take at least a month, if not longer, for all of this debris to be picked up. As Doug Brown stated, this storm is unparalleled to anything we've seen since the ice storm in the 1978, is what Senator Durbin told me today when I had a meeting with him. Senator Durbin reminded me in my meeting with him this morning that he was without power for 10 days during that ice storm. I know it's inconvenient to not have power. I know it's hot out and people need to charge their phones, stay hydrated, and have a good place to rest, which is why the YMCA has opened their doors and why American Red Cross is here at the BOS Center for you. We know it's bad and we are trying our best to get your power on as quickly as possible. We just want to make you aware that we know what you're dealing with. I want to thank Jody and Mike from the BOS for opening their doors because the facility in the lower level is amazing. There is a space for children to play. There is a space for you to shower. There is a space for women to be apart from men and families to be apart from regular population if you want some privacy. It's set up wonderfully downstairs, and we encourage you to come down, charge your devices if you have no power, and get the assistance you need. I'm also going to touch one more time on the food pickup locations for spoiled food. Director Fuchs touched on that. That is at 600 Rickard Road and 2121 South 11th. And if you need help getting your food picked up from your property, You can call the mayor's office at 217-789-2200. We will take your information, and the American Business Club has offered their services to assist in picking up that food from those who cannot get out on their own, whether you're handicapped or disabled, don't drive. The American Business Club has stepped up to help, so thank you to them as well. At this time, we're going to open it up to any questions from the media. Hang on. They would like you to hold a microphone when you ask your question, sorry. Just so everyone can hear.
Hello, thank you. Engineer Brown, you read my mind with regard to people being impatient. What examples are there of harassment that you can talk about? How impatient are people? I don't want to wait till no Sunday, I want it now. My power.
I think I'll just leave it in general terms that it's best to stay out of the crew's way, let them do their work. That way they can move on to the next outage.
But for every rule, there's a story. What's the story behind the rule of don't harass the crews?
I won't comment on that.
Any other questions?
I know you mentioned not experiencing anything to this capacity since the ice storm in the 70s. I'm guessing since you guys experienced this tragedy just last week, is there any long-term plans for the city to where you guys won't kind of experience this again when it comes to creating cooling spaces or just any assistance for those in need?
So the cooling spaces were launched immediately after the storms on Friday, compliments of the YMCA, so thank you. Again, I'll keep saying that over and over again because I'm so thankful for them. We have conversations daily with IEMA, and there will be an incident response evaluation afterwards, and which of course financial recovery might be a portion of that, in addition to planning for the future, but hopefully never in the future. I never want to see this happen to our community again. I was here twice yesterday visiting with some of the folks that came down to cool and charge, and people worked so kind and thankful to have a place to go, and I just really want to thank our citizens, and I will be remiss if I don't thank our crews. I've met with our electrical crews and our public works crews myself, and I've thanked them all and told them as the mayor how much I appreciate what they're doing. Any other questions?
One of the things that was mentioned was that there's more severe weather coming through the area. I know you guys are still working to get more power for people who are still without power, but is there a concern then that there might be more people without power if this storm comes through?
Yes, as I had mentioned, we still have 5,200 customers out of power. So an impending storm or high winds of any kind could damage more power lines by other tree limbs falling on them. With the strong winds that came through with the derecho that was last Thursday, losing track of days. So with that, there's definitely weakened the branches. So, and those you really can't see. There's some that you can see that are actually damaged and maybe nearing the fall. So there is very good chances of more power outages to occur this evening because of that storm.
Are there any considerations or any thoughts about extending the local state of emergency?
So the city ordinance requires that the mayor can only extend the state of emergency until the next council meeting, which is this evening. So I did extend it on Sunday evening, which we sent that out to everyone, until the council meeting tonight. There is an ordinance on emergency passage with city council to ask their permission to extend it for another week. So that is to their next meeting. That is on the agenda as an emergency passage. I did meet with Corporation Counsel Mordock before I walked over because I'm getting reports of this upcoming possible storm. And if we have to cancel the council meeting because of the storm, then I would immediately then just have to increase that emergency order myself because the council would not be able to meet. The intention is to meet. I hope we meet because that means we do not have bad storms.
And I know throughout this almost week long, there are quite a few people maybe not attending work, losing out on money. Is there any plans, or do you think there could be any assistance for those who are experiencing that sort of financial loss, especially through this inflation period?
Sure. So working with IEMA, the Illinois Emergency Management, we are the Springfield Chamber of Commerce is working on contacting businesses who have lost revenue. If any of you have driven down the Dirksen Parkway corridor and you've seen the businesses that are shuttered there because of this, there's definitely revenue loss there. The Hotel Motel Association is reporting back to our offices daily on the number of hotels that are still without power, loss of revenue there. We, the city, met with IEMA this morning about planning on contacting our residents and any losses they would have had, whether it be from jobs, as you stated, food, damage to their property, if there's not insurance in place, those sorts of things. So that would be all part of the recovery effort. In order for federal recovery dollars to take place, the entire state from this derecho has to have $22 million in losses. So we will watch for that. I know we have a loss with some towers for communication with the city that will be a part of that expense too, including our man hours and our overtime and the crews that we've brought in, the contracts that I've signed as mayor to bring those crews in. So it will be ongoing for quite some time to total all that up. Any others? I just want to say thank you again to our employees and our residents. We have amazing people in our community, and that has shown itself to be true during this terrible disaster. So thank you.
Just had one more follow-up question. How many people are still without power, and how is the city preparing for the weather that's coming through in general, just to make sure people still have power, or if there's a potential that people might lose power? How is the city preparing for that?
I'll do the upcoming weather, and then I'll let Doug talk about people without power. The upcoming weather, we did put information out through our social media and our website about warning residents of the upcoming possible storms that might hit our community. And we're asking if people do not have power to make sure their devices are charged, because that weather alert system comes through your phones. If your devices are not charged, come here to the BOS Center. They have a lower level. You're safe down there if the storms do come, and charge those devices. It's very important that you have access to the weather data. So we pushed that out as quickly as possible. We told all of our aldermen and alderwomen so they could push it out as well.
And you're asking again about the number of customers out of service, right? Yeah, again, that's 5,200.
Thank you all for your time. You have one more question.
I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
You're
So
fine.
people are watching this live, and a lot of them are wondering, where can people with pets go in regard to these cooling places?
So unfortunately, we can't allow pets in the BOS Center here, and we can't allow pets at the YMCA. I have a neighbor who had a family member without power, and I just recommended that they take their pet to, in my neck of the woods, it's Pet Supplies Plus, but everybody has a different pet store near them, because pets are always welcomed there, and let the pet cool off in there and get some water if they wanted. So that was what I recommended to my neighbor. All right, thank you all.